not going to miss Black Friday. Not one little bit. Black Friday improved. The best prices of the year already here at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look.
Welcome to Darren Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 15:10 a.m. I want to thank everyone. Hopefully everyone had a safe weekend, a safe, enjoyable weekend. I know it turned out better for some of us than the rest of us. But I want to thank you for tuning in either on the radio or via social media or on the app. I want to thank you so very much. We are joined back in studio, the vacationing, the presiding member of the 0.1% class, Mr. Sterling Holmes himself, who is back in the country from golfing, along with us joining us on today's show, Mr. Steve Walls, who was holding it down for him in his absence, who's going to get his opportunity to brag in just a little bit. But Steve, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm kind of jealous of Sterling, man. I want to go travel the world and swing the sticks too, man. Come on, Sterling.
Sterling, please, while we have you, at least for another week or so, tell us about your little vacation you had last week.
Yeah,
I know you had a good time.
Went to Oregon, went up to Bandon Dunes golf resort, the number one ranked golf resort in the United States. It was
foreign land.
It was you had to basically travel to get there like foreign land. You got to fly into Portland, drive 5 hours. It was amazing, man. Frank Bull, I was talking to him all about it, and it's a piece of Scotland and England moved to the dunes of Oregon, and it was the best experience of my life. My dad's 60th birthday, so
happy birthday to him.
Yeah, it was outstanding.
Let me ask you this. Did you swing them straight? That's all that matters.
Yeah, I actually played some of the best golf of my life. It was the first time in my entire life I'd ever beaten my dad, too. So that's a little tip in the cap right there.
Man, I'm jealous, man. Next time you got to call your boy up, man. Let me know. I want to roll.
Steve, we have to work our way up. Okay, some of us don't wake up to sleep on mattresses full of money. That we're not that lucky. But look, I tell you who is lucky right now, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. They came away, and to me, they basically escaped Arrowhead Stadium to lead into their bye week with a 33-31 victory over the Carolina Panthers. Now, this was a game where Carolina started out up top, and the Chiefs kept trying to claw their way back before they were able to take the lead towards the end of the ball, towards the end of the fourth quarter. Steve, I want to start with you. What was your thoughts on this game? Should it have been as close as I know neither one of us predicted it'd be this close. I had the game 35-17. You had 40-10. So were you surprised in the manner in which this game turned out?
Yeah, I was surprised. When you look at the way that the Chiefs played over the past few weeks, I mean, they had 2 weeks of running the ball well. Then they had a couple weeks of Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes. And this week it was kind of like, okay, are you guys going to run the ball? Are you going to take what the Carolina Panthers are going to give you? Or are you going to just go out there and try to dominate and be the offense that won you the Super Bowl last year? And I think they went out there and tried to run the ball, and they felt like, okay, well, that's not working. So we're going to let Patrick be Patrick. And, of course, he threw 3 touchdowns. But I think, what did we say yesterday? The running game was going to come into play there to be able – because when you look at their defense, they haven't been able to stop the run. And Christian McCaffrey, until I think he went out of the game in third quarter, I believe.
Fourth quarter,
yeah. Well, he was able to beat Christian McCaffrey and run all over these guys. So I think on the defensive side of the ball, they still need some work as far as stopping the run. But, they got to win. And it would have come down to, the field goals that Harrison Butker has missed. But and I know you don't like to hear it, Darren, but, it is what it is. They got to win.
Steve, I got to say something. as good as you can say Christian McCaffrey was, it wasn't on the ground. That 3.8 yards per carry was not the guy moving the needle. It was Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater had maybe his best game of the season. His receivers were making unbelievable catches. That final drive, the McCaffrey catch, I think it was DJ Moore. I'm sitting here just mind blown at these catches. I thought they had no chance. And then the 4th and 14 run that Teddy Bridgewater had where he jumped about 4 yards, flew through the air, landed in between 3 guys, got that first down. I mean, the Panthers gave everything they had in this game. They could not have played probably a better game. The Chiefs still won.
Well, and to that point, we talk about Kansas City can beat you in a myriad of ways. And Sterling knows where I'm going to go with this. But the fact that the Carolina Panthers had the ball for 38 minutes of the game, 38 minutes, and the Chiefs still figure out a way in 22 minutes to outscore them 33-31. Now, that says something a lot about the play calling. Now, but it also...
You know why, though?
Huh?
Just because you hold the ball doesn't give you an advantage. This is the most outdated...
No.
Come on now, Darren.
No. We always say your best chance in beating Kansas City is having Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, which is what they did most of the game, especially most of the first quarter. The only problem is that the equalizer is still Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter really how much time you have unless you get the ball for 50 minutes and 10 minutes for the Chiefs. That is probably the only way you can beat Kansas City like that by what the time. All I'm saying is that they, as Steve, I think it's you and Steven mentioned, they did everything they could, but it still wasn't enough. I'm saying that shows the greatness of Kansas City and their offense. But any other team with that type of time of possession, you're 95, 98% of the time going to beat them.
I disagree. And I gave you the stats last year. Time of possession had zero indication of who won the game last year. Because you know why? Everyone keeps talking about time of possession like it actually matters. Because guess what happens? Mahomes is getting the ball back. No matter how long the Panthers have the ball, where's it going? They don't get to keep the ball twice.
I just said
it goes back to Mahomes.
Dealing with Kansas City.
No, because at the end of the day, you have to score more than Mahomes. Basically, what you're saying is when you try to shorten the game, is saying our offense in a smaller sample size will hopefully beat Kansas City's in a smaller sample size. That's not the right way to beat Kansas City. It's not going to work. You know why? Because Kansas City's offense is too explosive. It's just too good, and they find ways to get it done time and time again. I do want to touch on Butker very quickly.
Please.
Everyone kept talking about Harrison Butker. By the way, no one's talking about how Joey Slye, not the 67-yarder, because that was unfair. Joey Slye missed an easier field goal in that game, too. You know why? The wind was crazy. Butker also drilled a 50-yard, or what was it, 55? 55-yarder in this game?
Yeah.
How many other kickers in this wind are hitting that field goal? I can think of one, Justin Tucker. Everyone keeps calling for a Harrison Butker's head without realizing who are you going to replace him with? Who are you going to find?
Nobody's saying cut the man, are they?
No, I'm seeing a lot on Twitter saying, we got to find someone else at kicker. Who are you going to find better than Harrison Butker at this time? You're not. He's probably a top 3 kicker in the NFL. He's fine. Let him work through it. Guess what? He wasn't the reason that he almost cost the Chiefs a game. If Mahomes connects to Tyreek Hill in that wide open 45-yard pass, I mean, that's 4 points right there.
Yeah.
He had to make a 55-yarder on that one. I mean, don't blame Harrison Butker for all of the Chiefs' problems, in my opinion. I just think it's a scapegoat that's just unfair.
It's more or less you had Andy Reid saying one thing. It was the reason why Harrison Butker, and it's just not this week though. It's been since the beginning
over the
of
last month
season.
at least.
Yeah, it's since the beginning of the season, and I agree with you 100%. But I think that the Chiefs are trying to cover up something else, which was at first Dave Toll was like, oh, it's nothing. He just missed a kick. We'll work through it. Then it was, oh, well, the weather was bad. And I think it's just one little thing that he needs to tweak and he'll be fine. Then Andy Reid the following week comes and says, after he misses another kick, Andy says, oh, well, there's a problem with him and Tommy Townsend. So then Dave Toll comes back and says, well, no, there's not a problem. We're working through it. He just needs to, he's 100% dead on in practice and he won't miss anymore. Now he comes back and misses more. So, either there is a problem with the hold or there isn't a problem with the hold. So I think, it's just, there's some inconsistency with the stories that they're giving and the reason why he's missing kicks.
That's fair. I'm just saying when it comes down to it, to my opinion, I think we expect kickers to be 100%, and I think it's an unfair expectation we have on the guy. If you look around the NFL, there are so many actual kicking problems, so many kickers that actually have issues, so many guys missing chip shots. I mean, missed extra points in general are up around the NFL. They are. For Harrison Butker, we all agree. I think it's a mental issue at this point. It's like the yips in baseball. It's so, guys go through this.
But we're still trying to figure out as to what the mental issue is. And I ask that, is it something at home that you're bringing to work that's causing you not to stay focused? Because here's the thing. You wasn't missing these same kicks last year, these extra points, because it hasn't moved back any further. And Steve was Sterling and I kind of disagree with it. Look, I'm not calling for the man's head, not at all. But my thing is, you've got to get this corrected, whatever it is. It has to be corrected before the playoffs, because here's the thing. Yes, it might not have affected the Chiefs in getting a win, whether it's a missed field goal or missed extra point yet. But you don't want it to get to the point where it does become well, it finally happened and we didn't do anything about it because we kept giving excuses as to why he missed it, or mental, or his work, or the holder. We live in Kansas City. We got to taste it as success in February. Yeah. Of course, we're going to want that to happen. So, look, I can understand maybe people hyperventilating about it, but it's also people who want the best for the Chiefs, because again, at the end of the day, you ain't trying to wait another 50 years to celebrate a Super Bowl or getting to Super Bowl. And when you know you have the best team, the best talent, and you know that Bucker, you can make these kicks. That's what you did all last year. I believe he was perfect from extra points last year, and I think he may have missed 2 or 3 field goals. So look, I understand the field goals because you can miss that from any particular distance. But again, the extra points, I'm old school, man. You got one job. We ain't asked you to go out there, make tackles and throw quarterback, throw touchdown passes. We just asked you to kick the ball. That's all we're asking for.
I get it. I do, but at the end of the day, I think we're just going to be disagree to agree on this one.
Yeah, I think fans have just gotten spoiled, man. I mean, you have this long run of Dustin Colquitt, being perfect as a punter. And then the kicking game for the past, 3 years that Butker's been here. I mean, he hasn't really gone through this kind of slump, so to speak. And I mean,
people just don't want to Lynn Elliott, Steve. Come playoff time.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be that bad.
No, I don't think so. But you don't want to get into that situation.
How about this? He's been unbelievable on field goals, and extra points have been the problem. Go for 2 more often. The Chiefs' offense, honestly, realistically, the Chiefs' offense is perfectly set up to go for 2 more often. I'm sure the analytics, the statistics probably back this up. I would be okay with Kansas City going for 2 as much as the Eagles do, as much as the Ravens do, if not more so. If you have this problem, just take it out of the equation and go for 2.
No, I'm with it. I mean, look, when you got that type of offense, to me, if you can't score within 2 yards like you would on the goal line anyway, that's a problem within itself.
I mean, do you think 50% of the time you can make it? That's what you got to go for. Can you make going for 2 50% of the time? If the answer is yes,
you should go for a lot more.
Go for it.
Steve, I can't lie. That's a question that we probably should pose to Andy Reid or Dave Tobe on the next Zoom stuff after their bye week. Their bye week, of course, starts today or started yesterday after the game. And, of course, the next game that Kansas City plays will be on the road. I would say a revenge-type game that will take place in Las Vegas against the Las Vegas Raiders. I know Steve and I will be in Vegas at least to do our shows. Whether or not we're covering the game at the time, we'll find out a little bit later. But all that being said, what are you expecting, Sterling, over the next 2 weeks from the Kansas City Chiefs and the players during their bye week?
By the way, I flew over the Raiders Stadium. It is so cool because I flew into Vegas before we went to Portland, so we flew right over it, right by it. The field was actually outside on that field tray they use. It's cool. I mean, we obviously didn't go inside, but the Vegas Allegiant, whatever it's called, it's awesome. It's very cool. As far as the bye week goes, get guys healthy. There are a lot of injuries right now. Sammy Watkins, Martinez Rankin, Mitchell Schwartz. Yeah. But a lot of the big-name guys, so to speak, they're pretty healthy. This is time for those soft tissue injuries. This is time for Mahomes, for Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, all these guys that are major parts of this offense that they're getting hit a lot. I mean, if you catch the ball 10 times like Travis Kelce did, that means you're getting hit 10 times. Mm-hmm. This is time for him to rest up, get healthy and get ready for the home stretch per se to the playoffs.
Steve, this bye week couldn't have came at a better time, especially we saw the team kind of struggle yesterday, obviously in their comeback win against the Carolina Panthers. Patrick, I know, said that he's going to probably take today off, go back in, watch some game film on tomorrow, and then watch the Masters this weekend, among other NFL games. What are your thoughts on this?
About it is a lot of these guys, and I heard Travis Kelce said they'll be able to take some mental time off, and work and focus on themselves, step away from the game. And they're not, the thing about it too is this is not like a regular bye week. They still have to go out to the stadium every day, and they still have to get tested every day. So they're not able to travel like they would, guys go to Cancun or wherever for the 5 or 6 days that they're off. But Andy Reid said about his message to the players. He said, go to the trailer, but not the building. He said that was his message to the team this week. What do you guys think about that one?
I've never heard that phrase before. That's
I don't even know what it means.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that something that you brought back from Philly? What's he say that mean?
I mean, it just means, to me, I think it's just like, hey, you don't want to push yourself, but you guys take some time off, hang with your family. Maybe you have some friends from out of town, but I'm sure you're doing the right thing, but don't go overboard with it.
Yeah, no. I agree with that. I think, if nothing else, if I'm a player, I'm trying to rest. Obviously, as Sterling mentioned, look, all the hits that you're taking throughout, especially with someone like Sammy, bro, you just got to go see somebody for some deep tissue massages or something, because we've got to get him back on the field. I know he hasn't been on the field, I think, since week 2 it was, Steve, or 3, that when he got injured with the concussion. So definitely need him back. I think Mr. Schwartz should be back. I think he probably could have come back, but they, as Sterling mentioned before, maybe just hold him out through the bye week until they come back for the Raiders. So no, I'm with that. What I want to do now is I want to take a quick time out, because I do want to come back, take a look at some of the games that took place on Sunday, playoff ramifications of it. And, I'll take my comeuppance like someone that's 300 Pennsylvania. So until then, we'll be right back. This is Darren Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Jordan, president of Digital Lagoon, a web and design agency. This year, I'm proud to be celebrating 25 years in business. Here at Digital Lagoon, we can provide you with a strategic digital marketing strategy. With the implementation of social media, SEO, and online advertising, these programs are proven to improve your website traffic. Let us collaborate with you to structure a plan and cut through the digital noise. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
Did you know on average, people only review their insurance plans once every 4 years? Hi, this is Corey Schnabel, owner of KC Insurance Group. Call KC Insurance Group today at 913-396-6320 for a no-obligation review of your current policy. If your current policy is the best fit for you, we'll tell you. If not, we'll save you some money with a tailored proposal from one of the best carriers in Kansas City. It's truly a win-win. KC Insurance Group voted 2019's best agency by Pitch Magazine. 913-396-6320 or visit us online at kcinsured.com.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Work hard and play hard with Easy Sport, Boulevard's refreshing rally ale. Infused with tangerine peel and sea salt, Easy Sport hits the shelves at only 99 calories and 4.5 carbs. This subtly salty, slightly tart beer packs a punch of flavor. Whether you just finished a run, a pickup game, or mowing the lawn, Easy Sport is a refreshing, guilt-free way to celebrate the everyday. Grab an Easy Sport, Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here from my friends at K&L Precision Painting. I've been working on a project with Matt from K&L Precision Painting, and I couldn't be happier with the process. They're a locally owned interior and exterior painting company You can call or text K&L Precision Painting at 913-938-4420. That's 913-938-4420. Or visit them online at klpaintingkc.com.
K&L Precision Painting. Looks so good, you'll be fainting.
SelectQuote is hiring advisors in Kansas City. I'm Joel Clark, a SelectQuote advisor for the last 17 years. We have great training compensation, no cold calling, you can work from home, and it's a fun environment. Some of our SelectQuote top earners have had no sales experience and have made over $200,000 annually. Openings are limited and are going fast, so give us a call at 1-833-HIRING-1. That is 1-833-447-4641, or check us out online at SelectQuoteCareer.com.
Welcome back to Darren Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 1510 AM. Going to take a brief time out. I'm a prideful person, and I'm going to allow Steve Walsh the opportunity to brag after his New Orleans Saints beat up on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers on last night. We had a small little wager as it relates to the game yesterday on our cheat sheet show, and I owe this man some wings and fries and something to wash it down with on at Gates Barbecue when he's ready for me to pay up on that. So, Steve, with this opportunity, I will allow you the opportunity to take the airwaves and to brag about your New Orleans Saints. So.
You know,
I'm sorry. Hold on. And I'm sorry, Sterling as well. I cannot leave Sterling out because this is a Super Bowl pick as well. So go
Good
ahead.
call, Steve.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. But you know what? I've been
Okay,
here
that's
before.
enough. No, go ahead.
I'm a winner. You know, I've been here now. But in all seriousness, though, man, it just goes to show you though that what Michael Thomas does for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they don't have to just. Because let me put it this way: if Michael Thomas does not play and Emmanuel Sanders does not play, all that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to do is just key off on Alvin Kamara, right? I mean, even though there's other receivers on that team, tight end's good, but Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, they add a lot of value to the New Orleans Saints, and I've been telling you that, Darren, and you just haven't been listening to me, but Michael Thomas is definitely. In the top three receiver, one of the top three receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, but see, he only had 5 catches, 51 yards, and now Taysom Hill was someone that really played a big role. And of course, mentioning the Saints defeated Tampa Bay on the road Sunday Night Football 38-3. Now look, Brady did not play well, 22-38, 209, 3 interceptions. Breeze somehow played outside of himself, kind of separated himself record-wise with Brady with the 4 touchdown passes. But Sterling, you know, I mean, your thoughts on this? Granted, you know, I expected, and maybe a lot of people, except for maybe you, Steve, expected this matchup to turn out differently because of how well Tampa Bay have been playing.
Well, I had Saints in this game. I think Drew Brees turned back the clock a bit. This was a classic Drew Brees performance. His arm strength suddenly came back, it looked like. I agree with you. Michael Thomas was a huge deal. Even though he only had 5 catches, the fact that he's on the field opens up everything this New Orleans Saints offense. The defense came out, Lattimore locked down Mike Evans again. If you've looked at the past 3 games, Mike Evans has gone against Marshawn Lattimore. Mike Evans has 0 catches against him. That's just what it is. This Saints defense was played perfectly against Tom Brady. The addition of Antonio Brown meant nothing. What I kept telling you, Antonio Brown doesn't mean much to this offense. When you already have great wide receiver, only one football, it comes down to can Tom Brady get him the ball? He couldn't give him the ball. Sean Payton deserves a lot of credit. The Saints team, everyone kept saying they're dead. There's no chance they're making the Super Bowl. Well, look now. They've beaten the Bucs twice. They have a better record than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they're still not given the credit that they deserve.
Well, I take offense to the last one because I do believe they're getting credit. I mean, they are the top team in the NFC.
It took this final win for everyone to stop saying, oh, they're too old, they're not
Well,
good enough.
no. Well, no. I think it was the fact that Breeze had all his weapons. I mean, because we saw, he hadn't been able to make the deep pass. I mean, we've been talking about that a lot as well. But I'm saying, but now that he, along they got their full away, he's got his full arsenal. We got a chance to see what the Saints offense, what a lot of people, you and Steve included. And look, I expect as well. I just expect Tampa Bay to be in the final game at the end. But we all expected the New Orleans Saints to look a lot better than what they have been looking recently, because Michael Thomas hadn't been playing, Emmanuel Samuels hadn't been playing, and it had relied so heavily on Alvin Kamara that, as Steve said, you could just tee off of him, try to take him out, and then maybe just go after Drew Brees. Now their defense has played a whole better as well, especially since that Monday Night Football game against the Las Vegas Raiders. So the defense is also set. So now the Saints are looking more like a complete team now that they got everybody back, everybody healthy. Steve?
And that's what it's about, though. But you look at, and I want to just harp on this one throw, but I've been saying that Brady is not the Brady that he was when he was in New England. I mean, his deep ball is not there. I mean, you see he had Antonio Brown. I think it would have been a touchdown, but he underthrew him. And that just goes to show you, man. And I told you this too, Darren. I texted you last night. I said, man, Antonio Brown is. I think he'll throw off the team chemistry. You can not believe it if you want to, but you have all these good receivers, and it's kind of like, why do you need to bring somebody else into this team? Granted, I mean, he's
they can't stay healthy. I mean, you saw Mike Evans limping off the field. After the first pass attempt that Brady threw to him.
Well,
I mean, he's a great player, but I mean, you really didn't. I think he's throwing off the chemistry.
I think Mike Evans also got hit in a spot as a guy you don't want to get hit in. I think that's why he was only off for one play. It looked like that was not the most. He wasn't wearing his cup.
I was trying to leave that little detail out, yeah.
But honestly, though, I'm surprised this was the most involved Mike Evans has been in a while. He's been scoring the touchdowns in the red zone, but they have not looked his way. The two end zone fades, maybe the worst play in football. End zone fades are so frustrating. They're so ineffective, and they threw it twice on that fourth down territory where they turned it over on downs. The offense just didn't look good for the Bucs. I mean, yes, the defense gave up 38, and Tom Brady put them in terrible positions, but that offense for Tampa Bay looked abysmal. That looked like the Jets. I mean, wouldn't the Jets put up 3 points against the Saints?
Yeah,
they'll probably put up 10. They'll put up 10.
Sam Darnold will do something crazy.
Oh, Steve, okay, look, I ain't going to take too many more of those shots of you now. I mean,
if we was playing Madden, I called skunks yesterday, man. I mean, come on, 21-0, 28-0. Come on, Darren.
Well, look, well, here's the thing.
A soft field goal, too.
It did not, look, it did not bode well. Obviously, we talked about possession earlier. Look, the Saints literally had the ball for 40 minutes. Granted, a lot of that came from turnovers on Tom Brady. So, look, they did what do. They obviously cut down on the possessions, and Brady did it as well. Now, I don't know. Brady looked like the second coming of Jameis Winston last night. And you know what was really interesting? Jameis Winston got in at the end of the game. So that was,
Did you see a post game?
No, I didn't.
Jameis Winston ate that W. You know the celebration thing or the pregame that went viral? Yeah. He did a postgame.
Really? I'm glad I didn't see that. So look, man, congratulations to the Saints. Congratulations to Steve. Congratulations to Sterling. The sun shines. Clock is right, I guess, in this time twice a day. And they were right for both of you all. Now, looking at the playoff standings, of course, another game that I guess the win was expected, but the manner and how it took place, the Pittsburgh Steelers defeating the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. One, it was not at a 15-point level that I needed, but two, they had a lot of struggles against that Dallas Cowboys team. Now, they still won. They're 8-0. They're still a half a game up above Kansas City. Looking at their schedule, I'm not sure, where either one of you gentlemen think that they'll get their first loss where Kansas City can maybe, jump ahead of them at. But your thoughts on that game yesterday, because again, the Cowboys, who looked just as bad as the Jets and the Giants and some of these other teams, I was still shocked that they were able to, that they came out of that game escaping and came out, unscathed against the force of a fourth string quarterback.
They played with heart for the Cowboys. They came out and they played well. It didn't help that Big Ben got hurt early on in the second quarter on the inside of his knee. That looked bad, but the Steelers' offense really was ground to a halt almost this entire game. Yes, they're 8-0. They're just not the best team in the NFL. This game almost cements that. We knew going in that Pittsburgh defense is very good. The offense has been solid, but if you're looking at like the elite teams in the AFC, I'm still going Chiefs, still going Ravens, and then I'm going Steelers, I think. I think that's probably the way I would break that down. I know the Steelers beat the Ravens. I even picked that game, but as far as if this was the playoffs, I would take the Ravens in a one-game do-or-die over the Steelers.
Depending on where that game is being played at, Steve.
I thought Dallas was going, I thought they were going to pull this one out, man.
I did too.
And I told you, I was like, what if the Dallas Cowboys, this is one of those games where, in any sport, you got an undefeated team. You're going to play a little bit harder than what you normally would on just a regular Sunday. You're like, man, they're coming in here, they're undefeated. We need to make something happen. They're going to leave they're going to leave this field and with an L. And I think that's how Dallas came into the game. Now, mentally, you can do that, but then physically, I just don't think that they had it all. What Pittsburgh, what they brought to the table. Zeke, he's just not been Zeke of old, and we've been saying this. Maybe it's time to break from Zeke and see what you can get for him. He still has some type of value.
6-rounder. That contract, no one's taking it on. I'm telling you guys right now, this is why you don't pay running backs. It's not Zeke. It's the fact that the offensive line is hurt. You don't have Dak Prescott. No matter how good you are running back, it does not matter if you have no quarterback and you have no offensive line. You will get nothing. Jamal Charles has been the only outlier in the past 25 years to make that work. So if you're Dallas, no. Look, EPA. I have analytics and stats to back this up. I'm telling you right now, if you are trading for Zeke, you're not getting probably more than a 6th-round draft pick for him with that contract. What team? Name one team right now that would give up a lot for Zeke. That would give up a 4th-round draft pick or more for Ezekiel Elliott.
I'll say Buffalo.
But Buffalo doesn't need him. Josh Allen is their best runner. They got Moss. They got Singletary.
You gonna go there with that? Really? You just said it with a straight face.
Josh Allen is the.
I would say Buffalo right now. I would say Buffalo. That would make them more of a complete offense.
Seattle would too.
Chris Carson's is tough. If you have Chris Carson healthy,
hey,
that's fine.
You mean to tell me if Drew Brees was to go down, knock on wood, that you would not pay Alvin Kamara? He's not
I would not pay him Ezekiel Elliott money. I would not pay any running back in the NFL. You know why? They're already splitting carries in New Orleans with Latavius Murray.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now. Look what happened when Christian McCaffrey went down. Mike Davis filled in admirably.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Tony Pollard has been more effective in a very smaller sample size than Ezekiel Elliott this year.
I'm just saying. I think Alvin Kamara is a 2020 Jamal Charles type player, if not better.
He's not better, but I'll give you he can do both. Ezekiel Elliott's problem is he can't catch the ball as well in the backfield as a lot of these top end guys like Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he had one he could have caught for a first down, and he just hit him in the pads, didn't keep his feet in bounds, and you're just looking, why the hell am I paying this guy so much money to drop passes?
Dalvin Cook's looking good.
Dalvin Cook's looking good. You know why? Kirk Cousins looks better now too.
Yeah, because of Dalvin Cook.
And it just depends on, kind of like a quarterback. You get a rookie quarterback, and he can look good on some teams and work and terrible on the other. It just depends on the system, what you need, and if you value that running back.
I mean, Derrick Henry had 21 carries for 68 yards, and Tennessee still won because Ryan Tannehill came through. At the end of the day, it comes down to the quarterback play more than the running back. It comes down to scheme more than the running back.
Well, the quarterback, it's always going to they have the ball in their hands every possession. It's always going to come down to the quarterback.
Derrick Henry had the ball 21 times in his hands, did nothing with it.
How many times did the quarterback have the ball in his hands? Every single snap, right?
let me go ahead and look and see how many times he threw the ball.
Go ahead. Steve, the other game, of course, Miami, Arizona. Now that was a fun game. Two young quarterbacks, Kyler Murray against Tua Tagovailoa. Kyler Murray, of course, passed for 283 yards, and he also led all runners with 106 yards rushing. But Tua Tagovailoa wasn't no slouch either, 20 or 28. A lot of that, he passed, that was about 70%. And 248, 2 touchdowns. If you had to grade Tua in this first full, outing outside of what took place again last week against Rams, they kind of gave from the game with all the turnovers that they did. This time around, he had a fighting claw for this game.
Yeah, I agree. But Tua is, if I had to grade, I give him an A. You traveled from Miami. They came off of a bye week, I believe, right?
Yeah, Miami
Yeah,
did.
and you went out there.
I'm sorry. Arizona did.
Arizona did. Okay. Well, you went out there, and you did what you needed to do. You threw for 248, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So, you led your team to a victory. And the Arizona Cardinals, they've been rolling, man. Kyler Murray has been putting them in a good position to win. And so, I think Tua, he's been playing, and he was the second leading rusher yesterday too.
And look, Steve, to that point, this is something for both you and Sterling. Now, you all were both disappointed in the fact that Brian Flores had elevated him above Ryan Fitzpatrick. I get it. But because of that, they still won 2 straight games. They're 5-3, and guess what? They are number 7 in the AFC standings right now. So they would be the team coming to Kansas City facing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs if the playoffs were the end of the day. So again, they've done what they were supposed to do, and that's continuing to win. And as we mentioned before, Brian Flores and the company, they had to do it because you got to see what all the draft pick that you got coming up in 2021. You got to see whether or not either A, you need another quarterback, B, you just need weapons to surround them with, and then they're going to have some salary cap space, perhaps, especially depending on if the salary stays stagnant or goes down or goes up or whatever next season. The Dolphins are a team on the rise, and I would say outside of Mike Tomlin, Brian Flores is going to get a lot of Coach of the Year looks this year.
Yeah, he deserves that because that was a ballsy move that has obviously paid off. 2-0, great win over Arizona. Arizona has been
that was a comeback
really
win
good.
too.
Yeah.
That was a comeback. So that was Tua's first comeback when they were trailing 31-24 before he led them to 2 straight scoring drives.
Yeah, so give Tua credit, give Brian Flores credit. What more can you ask from a rookie quarterback going up against a good team? An explosive offense, by the way, in Arizona, and still coming out with a win. By the way, I looked it up. Ryan Tannehill also threw the ball 21 times. So,
which means he handed it off 21 other.
That's my point. And who was more effective?
Anyway, so we're looking at this, and again, the Arizona Cardinals, they're number 6 right now. As you look at the standings over in the NFC, you got the Saints, the Seahawks, who their loss against Buffalo yesterday. I'll get to that in just a second. You got Green Bay, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, Arizona, and the Los Angeles Rams. On the AFC, of course, you got Pittsburgh, you got the Chiefs, Buffalo, Tennessee, Baltimore, the Vegas Raiders. So this is going to be a nice Sunday night football matchup. You got 2 teams that are in the same division, vying for their playoff spots, and then of course the Miami Dolphins. Now, Steve, I want to go back to you because we got a chance to talk about this a little bit last week on the MVP race. Does Russell Wilson's performance in yesterday's game, especially the loss against Buffalo, does that knock him down now from being the top of the quote-unquote MVP race? And who would you say is now leading the pack?
Last week, right? It was Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, and Mahomes. If you just had to, base it off of – now, when I say it was Russell, it was at that moment last week. And so just watching that game, you have to say Patrick Mahomes right now is leading the pack in the MVP race. Then Russell, then Tom Brady. Tom Brady played abysmal yesterday. Russell didn't play, he didn't play Tom Brady bad. He didn't lead his team to a win. So I would just say Patrick Mahomes right now in that MVP. If it ended today, it would be Patrick.
Yeah, it's got to be Patrick right now. Patrick is heating up at the right time. Russell has cooled off a little bit. I think it's 1 Patrick, 2 Russ.
Aaron Rodgers.
I said 1 Patrick, 2 Russ. 3, you can make a case for Aaron. You can make a case for Tom Brady. You could probably make an outside case for Josh Allen of the Bills. But I think it's 1A, 1B with Patrick and Russ right now.
Whew. Well, I am going to go Patrick. That's who I stated before. I got Patrick. I would then go with Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing much better than well, if you look at Russell, the last two times that his team was on the field, they've lost. And so you got to get that. I'm sorry, what did you say, Steve?
Are you basing it off the San Fran game?
You said the San Fran game?
With Aaron Rodgers, his last game. I mean,
yes. Well, yes. I mean, look, man. Look, I mean, because if we're going to do that, we got to remember Patrick Mahomes played the Jets last week. So I mean, we got to be consistent now.
No, he played Carolina last week.
Yeah, well,
I get what you're saying, though, Darren.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
but Russell Wilson now
I'm
has,
with you.
and he now has 8 interceptions. Again, and this is the thing with Russell. Everybody talks about the storyline about, well, he never won, he's never gotten a vote. But see, Russell always looks good at the beginning of the season when we get to the midway point. But then once they start losing, you start to see his numbers start to his touchdowns start to go down, his interceptions start to go up. Now I think he has 20. He's got 28 touchdowns. Patrick has 25, and I think Aaron Rodgers is third with 24. But Rodgers has 2 interceptions. Wilson has 8. Mahomes has 1. And then, of course, winning matters as well. So, Patrick is 7-1. Both Russell and Aaron Rodgers are both 6-2. And so, but when you start looking at the numbers and everything, Patrick Mahomes is number 2 in the league. Behind Matt Ryan with in his passing yards and stuff like that. So little things like that will come into effect. Now you can say, what about Big Ben? He's 8-0.
No. Yeah, come on.
No.
At some point,
people will argue that because they're undefeated now. They go 6-0. We'll cross that bridge when they do. But I'm saying, but right now, it's kind of hard to say that Patrick is not the front runner for the MVP right now.
Yeah. The touchdown to interception ratio is absurd. I actually have a good stat right here. The first quarterback to 100 touchdowns, fastest. But not only that, if you look at how many interceptions was thrown when you get to 100 touchdowns. John Elway, 95 interceptions, 100 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, 100 to 19. The next closest, I believe, is 34 with Aaron Rodgers. So Patrick Mahomes, 15 less interceptions when he got to his 100th touchdown. That is extremely impressive. That's efficient. That's taking care of the football. It's unheard of.
I wish we could see how many of those touchdowns were deep balls to Tyreek Hill and to any of his other receivers. So that would kind of come into play too. I think if you because when you look at those guys like John Elway, he really wasn't. Just from my eye sample size, I guess, seeing John Elway play, the deep ball really wasn't there with John Elway. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of that was to Shannon Sharp, was to the other guys that he had. But I don't think that he had the deep ball quite like Mahomes.
That's fair. That's fair, Steve. Then here you go. You got Peyton Manning with 69 interceptions to 100 touchdowns.
Jameis Winston
with 68. You got Tom Brady, who threw 53. Dan Marino with 44. And then Aaron Rodgers is the closest with 34. I mean, that's 15 more interceptions than Mahomes. Yeah. So I just wanted to highlight how good and historically good Mahomes has been, not only scoring touchdowns or passing touchdowns, but also taking care of the football.
Yeah, and one good thing before we go to break as well. I mean, when we talk to Patrick on the Zoom calls, he talks about what he would tell the younger Patrick, which is only two years ago, would do. Again, you remember 2 years ago, he had 50 touchdowns. I think either 10 or 12 interceptions. I can't remember if it was 10 or 12. But, what we're seeing now, one, he's also been fortunate because there were games this season that he should have had more interceptions than what he had, but they just couldn't. He just didn't catch it. He hit it right in the hands, and that's why they play defense and not wide receiver. So look, Patrick has been fortunate where defenders could not catch his passes that could possibly, increase his interception count. But all that being said, doing what you're supposed to do. You're not putting the ball, because one of the things that Patrick was doing when he was in college, he threw a lot of interceptions. He threw a hell of a lot of touchdowns, but he threw a lot of interceptions as well. The good thing, and they would compare him to Brett Favre when he was coming to the league. But again, you can get compared to, you're going to throw a lot of touchdowns, but they also figure you're going to make a lot of mistakes, throw a lot of interceptions. He's been mindful of that, and to his credit, he is, like I said, minus a few games where he should have had a few more interceptions than he did not get. He's done well with his decision-making ability, Steve.
Yeah, and I agree. And that was people's Chiefs fans' argument was just that. It was like, okay, there were some fans, including me, just that I looked at Alex Smith and I said, all right, Alex Smith, he's not going to throw those interceptions. He's always going to play it safe. And then that final season in Kansas City, he played out of his mind. But then people were like, okay, well, Patrick Mahomes is going to come in here and he's just going to wreck shop. He's going to throw all these balls. But then, okay, what about his interception count? I think that was the nervousness of Chiefs fans. And it was like, all right, Patrick Mahomes is going to come in here and just throw all these interceptions. He's going to throw the deep ball. That's what people want. They don't want a game manager, so to speak. But now I look at it, I'm like, man, he's played phenomenal. It was just that one interception of all the touchdown passes he's had. He's had a touchdown pass in every one of his games that he's played, which is crazy.
Well, with that too, if we get started, you got to remember, 2018, for every 5 touchdowns, he threw an interception. 2020, for every 25 touchdowns, he's thrown one interception.
Analytics, baby.
Oh,
what I will say, though, is I agree with Steve. We all expected probably more interception numbers, and I agree with you, Darren, as far as there probably were. There's been a few. There's probably about 5 you can easily count that say those probably should have been intercepted. But guess what? Every single quarterback around the NFL has those exact same throws that aren't picked. It's to the point where it defies logic when it's like this guy should catch it, but he just doesn't, and it keeps happening and happening and happening again. I don't know if he throws weird spin. I don't know if he throws it so hard that defenders can't catch the damn ball. I don't know, but for some reason he finds his defenders just can't seem to catch it. And at the end of the day, because every single quarterback has these exact same throws, but for some reasons Patrick's just don't get caught, and I don't get it.
I don't know, but I know we in Kansas City, see, we talked about it before. We are blessed and we are spoiled now, and we're going to enjoy this for the next number of years. We'll take a quick time out. We'll come back here on Darren Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Jordan, president of Digital Lagoon, a web and design agency. This year, I'm proud to be celebrating 25 years in business. Here at Digital Lagoon, we can provide you with a strategic digital marketing strategy. With the implementation of social media, SEO, and online advertising, these programs are proven to improve your website traffic. Let us collaborate with you to structure a plan and cut through the digital noise. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
You can keep your grass green and lush all year long with a new sprinkler system from Summit Lawn and Landscape. Call Summit Lawn and Landscape today at 816-966-9434 to design a water-efficient system for your home and never drag a hose again. 816-966-9434. Summit Lawn and Landscape provides complete lawn maintenance, including mowing, fertilization, and landscape installation, maintenance, and design. Call 816-966-9434 or go to summitlawn.com.
Space Camper Cosmic IPA is a juicy hot blast of flavor. Citrusy and balanced, this is an IPA with a mission to save the Earth because it's the only planet with beer. You might not know it, but Boulevard Brewing Company has been passionate about taking care of our planet for decades. Between their zero-waste brewery to Ripple Glass, Boulevard has been making great beer you can feel great about. Stock up on Space Camper Cosmic IPA today. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
I'm Joel Clark, a SelectQuote advisor, and we are hiring in Kansas City. I've been with SelectQuote for over 17 years, and I can tell you, coming to SelectQuote was the best decision I ever made. The earning potential here is real. I have personally made over $250,000 year in and year out. Invest in your future and give us a call now. 1-833-HIRING-1. That is 1-833-447-4641. Or check us out online at SelectQuoteCareer.com. I guarantee you won't regret it.
Welcome back to Darren Sterling here on 94.5 FM, 1510 AM. It is time for the annual Sports Radio 810 Food Drive. It is the 22nd anniversary, and we are, of course, donations will be going to those in need through the Bishop Sullivan Center and Mission Southside. So we have drop-off locations for non-perishable items. They'll be accepted at all Kansas City area Aldi grocery stores now through Sunday, November 15th. Just look for the 810 bins. Union Broadcasting here, the Sports Radio 810 studios, along with Coaches Bar and Grill on 135th and at their new location as well. So if you can't make it and you still want to help, just head to 810whb.com/food drive to make a donation online. So I want to make sure that our people understand that. And look, there's going to be a Monday Night Football game. I'm not sure if there's any doubt, but the way the Dallas Cowboys played yesterday, you never know. The way that the New England Patriots have been playing the last 5 weeks, you never know. But we got the Patriots, we got the Jets, we got over on our sister station, Sports Radio 810 WHB. So, Jordan, who you got in this game?
I have the Patriots, and it's going to be like a 10-3 game or a 9-6. It's going to be brutal, man. The Patriots offense looks anemic. The Jets offense looks abysmal. Both defenses aren't terrible, I guess. But, I mean, these are two bad teams, so this is not going to be very fun.
Steve, I know you and I like to do little prop bets every now and then. Now, I'm looking at this. Now, you tell me what you think. Frank Gore has to have 45 rushing yards. Cam Newton to have 50 rushing yards. Jay Crowder to have 7 or more receptions. And or Jay White to have 4+ receptions, plus 1850.
Maybe it's one of those things on that bet, man. You don't know how Cam is going to play. He hasn't played well these past couple games, and I've been saying it, man. I think COVID has really took a toll on Cam, and it kind of halted his progress with the new team. But I wouldn't take that bet right now, just because I don't think Cam is old Cam.
I don't think, and Frank Gore is not old Frank Gore. LaMichael Perrine is starting to take over a little bit more of the backfield duties for the Jets, which makes no sense why he's not just given the keys, because Frank Gore is 37. He's not part of your future. I don't understand what the Jets are doing, but it's Adam Gase, so
there it is right there.
There you go.
It's Adam Gase. Adam Gase.
That's your best chance of getting that bet is because it's Adam Gase.
That might be worth $5. Y'all laughing. Alabama LSU college football game in jeopardy after Tigers COVID-19 test. Again, it seems like multiple players, including starters, will be unavailable, according to Ed Orgeron. Does this game get played Saturday?
I would say it does. I mean, that's it. What time is that game? That's a primetime game, right?
That's a real good question. I know they I don't know. I thought the game was like at 2:30 or something like that, but it could be one of those situations where.
Yeah, if it's a primetime game, of course it's getting played.
Yeah, it
was 5 o'clock-ish. So,
two of the most money-making teams in a primetime game, they'll throw out a fifth-string guy and they'll say, we'll make do. You know, it's SEC has gone on, I think, more so than most teams. One Mizzou game got canceled, but for the most part, games have gone on as planned. You know, it's one of those things where so many college football games around the league are just up in the air, but they seem to be getting played for the most part. I think the Pac-12 just now is starting, I believe. You know, to be honest with college football, you have no idea. It's a crapshoot going in, game out. I'm a Mizzou guy, and it's tough to follow whether they're going to play or not. I mean, but I would assume if it's Bama and LSU, my money would be on they are playing.
And finally, of course, the AP Top 25 was released today. Unofficial national champion KU Jayhawks, they number 6. Yeah, Steve, I said that unofficial. You know what I'm saying? They lay claim to it. Yeah, lay claim to it.
Okay, Bucknell.
Gonzaga's number 1, Baylor's number 2, Villanova's number 3, Virginia number 4, and Iowa number 5. The 5 teams rated or ranked ahead of Kansas. Steve, before we get out of here, where can people hear you, and what do we have on tap for this evening on the Red Hour?
They can hear me on the W Show at the W Show KC, 100.1 FM. Follow me at Steve Walls KC on all social media platforms. Tonight we have the Red Hour. Tune in. You can find that via Facebook Live. We'll have former Chiefs free safety Ron Parker joining myself, Darren Smith, Sean Tyler, and also DJ Q. We'll talk all Chiefs football, so tune in.
All right. And before we get out of here, Sterling, it is good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Honestly, I've missed it. I've missed.
But aren't you supposed to be quarantined since you didn't travel the way you did?
No. There is no one. Look up Bandon Dunes. There's not that many people there. I'm golden.
Okay, hold on, but you were there, but you said you got a haircut.
I'm actually. I set up an appointment, but Purple Label's closed on Mondays. I got to look this week.
All right, man. We'll do this again, Steve. Of course, so we'll have you back on next week while we're out in Vegas. For everyone tuning in, want to thank you so very much. Want to say congratulations to President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris on their hard-fought win. Also want to thank President Donald Trump for the hard-fought race that he ran as well. Institute stuff like that is never easy, but to the victor go the spoils. Until next time, for Sterling Holmes, Steve Walls, I am Darren Smith for Darren Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 1510 AM.